Subscribe to this channel and become a member of House Trevelyan. This is a fairly new channel, so it's going to be very, very hard to find me. So click the bell icon to get notified every time I upload a video. Enjoy. Let's say I make a film, and I hire Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, Tom Cruise, and a bunch of other straight white male actors. The movie is directed by a straight white male director, it's produced by a straight white male producer, and all the crew members are all straight white male. So, if I ask you, do you think a movie like that would ever win the Oscar? Well, any sensible person would say that, well, it depends on the movie. It depends on the film, how good the performance of the actors are, how well the direction is, how well the CGI is done, how good the writing is, etc., etc. It depends on skill, right? Any sensible person would say that. Well, not anymore. See, the Oscars have just announced that they will be putting new inclusion standards to qualify for Best Picture. So the Oscars are planning to put some standards, some stipulations. So if you want to go to the Oscars, let alone win the Oscars, if you would want your movie to be considered for a Oscar nomination, you would have to fulfill these wokeness criteria. So you have to be a certain amount of woke in order to be considered for an Oscar nomination. So Brie Larson's essence just manifested in the Oscar people. That's what we're seeing. Extreme levels of wokeness for the 96th Oscar. So it's not gonna happen right away. It's going to happen from 2024, the 96th Oscars. A film must meet 2 out of 4 of the following standards to be deemed eligible. So you have A, B, C, D, like 4 categories. You have to fulfill at least 2 out of these 4 categories. So you say standard A is a film must meet one of the following criteria. So A1 is lead or significant supporting actors. At least one of the lead actors or significant following actors is from an underrepresented racial or ethnic group. So one of either the lead or a significant supporting cast member has to be Asian, Hispanic, Latinx, Black, African American, Indigenous, Native American, Alaskan Native, Middle Eastern, North African, Native Hawaiian, or other Pacific Islander, other underrepresented race or ethnicity, or A2 general ensemble cast. At least 30% of all actors in secondary and more minor roles are from at least 2 of the following underrepresented groups: women, racial or ethnic group, LGBTQ+, people with cognitive or physical disabilities, or who are deaf or hard of hearing. So that's an A3 main story subject matter. So the main story subject matter has to be centered around underrepresented groups: women, racial ethnic group, LGBTQ+, people with cognitive disabilities, and disabled people who are deaf or hard of hearing. So that's A. You have B, creative leadership and department heads. So people in the creative department, see the cinematographer, director, composer, costume designer, etc., etc. At least 2 of them need to be either woman or be from a racial or ethnic group, or be from an LGBTQ member. People with cognitive disabilities, deaf or hard of hearing, so have to have a disability. At least one of those. So basically, if a person just breaks his arm or leg or injures himself and then applies for a movie, makes a movie and then applies for an Oscar, they have a greater chance of winning an Oscar than a person who is genuinely talented. So talent isn't even an issue anymore. Talent isn't even relevant anymore. At least one of those positions belong to the following underrepresented racial or ethnic group: Asian, Hispanic, Black, Indigenous, yada yada yada. And I myself am a brown person, so even I'm really, really disgusted by this, because if you think about this for a second, they're using us. I'm a person of color, but they're using human beings in general like tokens. They're using us as tokens. You have to have one or two of these tokens. See, I'm a brown person. I'm not white. I'm a brown person. And I find this offensively disgusting. Okay, I find this horribly, offensively disgusting. This is basically, you guys are basically treating us like animals in the zoo. Like you want to watch a variety of animals in the zoo, that's why you want different types of a zebra and a lion and a giraffe and a peacock and whatever. But we're not animals, we're human beings. It doesn't matter if somebody's black or white or brown. If you genuinely want a person's talent, okay, and what a person has to offer, if you genuinely think that that person has artistic value in it, you hire that person. You don't look at his or her gender, skin color, I don't know, whatever these criteria that you've just regurgitated. I feel like race, skin color, gender, sexual orientation, and all these things, they shouldn't matter. If a person is talented and if the person meets your criteria, then these things shouldn't matter. As if we're dogs in a dog show, basically. At least 6 other crew team are from an underrepresented. It's the same thing. So there has to be 6 people from, like, again, from those areas of spheres of life. Overall crew composition. At least 30% of the film's crew is from the following underrepresented groups: racial, women, racial or ethnic group, LGBTQ+, people with cognitive or physical disabilities, yada yada. Disabilities, disabled people. Standard C, industry access or opportunities. Paid apprenticeship. Should the film's distribution or financing company has paid apprenticeship or internship that are from the following underrepresented groups and satisfy the criteria below: women, racial or ethnic group, LGBTQ+, people with cognitive disabilities. You get the point. You see the pattern here. So D, representation in marketing and publicity. So it has to be marketed. The studio and or film company has multiple in-house senior executive from among the following underrepresented groups, must include individuals from underrepresented racial or ethnic groups on their marketing, publicity, and or distribution team. Women, the racial ethnic group, you get the point. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that for the Oscars, words like talent, skill, these words don't even mean a thing anymore. These are not even relevant. If you don't have a woman in your team, if you don't have a racial or ethnic group such as Asian, Hispanic, Black, Indigenous, Middle Eastern, yada yada in your group, then your movie is not Oscar worthy. Does not matter how good your movie is. So basically, if I have an all straight white male cast directed by a straight white male director, okay, I'm not a straight white male, I'm a brown, but let's just say I am white, just for the sake of the argument. And every single person in the movie associated with the movie is straight white male. Would you call that movie racist? I wouldn't, because I don't think nowadays, if somebody makes a movie with a completely straight white male cast, completely straight white male crew, the director being straight white, the producer, everything is just consists of straight white males, then that movie is going to be the most diverse movie of the year, because the way representation and inclusion is shoehorned in these days. I feel like if you cast an all-white cast and make a movie that's all white, it's going to be the most diverse thing of the year. Being white doesn't mean I'm racist. Being straight doesn't mean I'm homophobic. Being male doesn't mean I'm sexist. And this is the thing with Hollywood and America, isn't it? They try to give you this false sense of representation, of inclusion, of respect. They try to make you believe that your life matters. They'll deceive you into thinking that your life matters, but whereas in real life, they're gonna choke you and kill you in broad daylight. And that's the reality. We should stop tokenizing. We should stop, these Hollywood people should stop treating us like some animals in the zoo. They're like literally making a checklist, and they're just using us like these check marks. Does your movie has a woman? Check. Does this movie has a black, Latin, American, Hispanic, brown, Indian, Middle Eastern person in your movie, or an LGBTQ movie? You have to have these. So I'm really fucking sick of this PC culture. Art should not be dictated with whether you have this type of person or that type of person in your art or not. Art is art. It's just what it is. You don't question the artist. You don't put stipulations on art. And this is exactly what they're doing. So this just, honestly speaking, Oscars just lost all respect from me, because I just treat people like people, Why do you have to treat us like this, kind of like this is like a checklist that needs to be fulfilled? There has to be this kind of person or that kind of person, or your art is not art. That's bullshit. That's why I don't absolutely detest this Oscars have decided to do, and I hope they change, because they're getting lots of backlash. A lot of people are hating on this on the internet. So yeah, so this was a big news from the Oscars, and yeah, if you like what you see, then hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This is an absolutely new channel, so to make sure that you can find my videos, hit the bell notification so that you get notified every single time I upload a new video. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and my name is Tausif Trevelyan, and I'll see you next time in the next video. Bye.